أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وقالوا كونوا هودا أو نصارى تهتدوا قل بل ملة إبراهيم حنيفا وما كان من المشركين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه ومن استنى بسنته إلى يوم الدين اللهم اجعلنا منهم ومن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر آمين يا رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. And Ramadan Mubarak to all of you. I wanted to take this opportunity to introduce what I plan on doing this Ramadan. After quite a few years of studying the Quran as to the best of my ability, and I'm still very much a student of the Quran, I've come to certain conclusions that I think scholars much more qualified than myself have talked about in many places, but I see a disconnect between what is talked about in scholarly circles and what is known among the average Muslims. And one of those things is the role of Ibrahim alayhi salam in understanding Islam itself. So there are stories of prophets alayhi salatu wasalam that are really important. All of them play a significant role. But actually, you have to know the placement of something and the actual role that it plays, the significance of it, and the connection between other parts. So the stories of the prophets in the Quran are actually, the vast majority of them are deeply connected to each other. They're part of a larger narrative. They're like pieces of a puzzle. And Ibrahim alayhi salam is a very fundamental piece of that puzzle. I would even argue that understanding the seerah of our messenger and the mission of our messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is next to impossible. The overall objective of the life of our messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam is nearly impossible to understand without understanding the connection that mission has to Ibrahim alayhi salam. It's not just understanding that connection though. When you and I understand that connection, our view of what Ibrahim alayhi salam saw the world as, he had a worldview, right? And that worldview was lost for thousands of years. And then Allah wanted that Abrahamic worldview, the worldview of Ibrahim alayhi salam, should become the way that every believer sees the world. The way they see Allah Himself, the way they understand Allah Himself, the way they understand their life, the way they understand the afterlife, the way they understand other nations and other people. All of it actually in one way or the other ties back to the way that Ibrahim alayhi salam saw the world. This is a very special messenger of Allah. And he is special. You cannot even compare him to other messengers of Allah up until the messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in that Allah tested him in ways that no other messenger was tested. Allah gave him ways of making da'wah that no other messenger was given. So for just as a couple of examples, no messenger before Ibrahim or after Ibrahim alayhi salam was given the instruction to slaughter their own child. That's never happened. That's not something that is found in the legacy of any prophet except Ibrahim alayhi salam. There are pretty much every prophet in the Quran, other than the prophets of the Israelites alayhi salatu wasalam, they are making da'wah to people who do shirk, and so many of them people used to worship idols, right? And you find these kinds of false gods being talked about in the legacies of different prophets. However, no prophet ever went and broke the idols. They didn't do that. And they didn't do that as a demonstration to make the point about what the idols are. Similarly, even if they were false gods, no prophets went around to demonstrate how silly those beliefs are, to go around and say, oh, this must be the real God. This is a bigger one. Oh, this must be my God. Oh, this must be my... Oh, no, that doesn't make any sense. Meaning to demonstrate the falsehood, the wrongness of shirk by playing along. But Ibrahim alayhi salam does that. هَذَا رَبِّي هَذَا أَكْبَرُ لَا أُحِبُّ الْآفِلِينَ. He says that in the Quran, right? So he's doing things that no prophet has done before him. And he's being tested in ways that no prophet is tested before him. He has to engage. And remarkably, other nations, other prophets, they have nations. They have nations. But Ibrahim alayhi salam himself is called millatan, ummatan. He's called an ummah by himself. Inna Ibrahima kana ummatan. Ibrahim alayhi salam by himself was a nation. So in many ways, you can already tell when you study Quran, this messenger is in a different position than the other messengers of Allah. But there's more.